Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Rose, and on this channel we talk about online dating, interracial dating, relocating. Those are the kinds of topics we cover here. And in today's video, we are going to talk about the importance of reading somebody's bio on a dating site. And we are going to focus on those jokes, those dry jokes that people put on their dating profile. Yesterday, I posted a short video on my YouTube shorts of this comment. Somebody had left a comment on one of my other videos talking about that she saw a profile on a dating site. Somebody had written something like, oh, I want to find a woman and we're gonna get married quickly and we're gonna have kids. He didn't even say kids, but the words he used I'm not gonna use here. And we're gonna have kids, and then they're going to spend all our money, and then I'm gonna be so angry, I'm gonna be so bitter, and then I'm gonna slowly start poisoning my wife, and then on her last moments I'm gonna whisper in her ear, you should have swiped left. That is on a dating bio. I'm like, why would somebody take that time to write something like that and put it on a dating bio as a joke? Because these are the kinds of things people say or put on something, and then once you analyze, they're like, oh, you have no sense of humor, you have zero sense of humor, like how can you not see the the joke in it? And I'm like, the way it's so well thought out. I'm like, this sounds like this sounds like a plan, so it is very important to go through somebody's bio. If you see a profile that you are interested in, read the bio, go all the way, read everything, okay? Read everything, because sometimes I feel like as women, we get on these dating sites and then we see somebody we have matched, and then we are like, oh yes, and then that's it, and then you just go and start having a private conversation, but you didn't actually get to see what they had written on their dating profile. Right? There's even a lady I saw yesterday talking about she met her husband on a dating site, and she didn't read the bio, and apparently the husband had said he doesn't want kids. So that became a problem because he assumed that she had actually read his profile, but she had not read it. So it became an issue. So it is very important for you to go and read somebody's bio. Okay, it is very important to look at those, the small print. When he talks about pets, we already talked about pets. We say there are some pets that are just deal breakers. You find somebody has a big snake in the house. Are you going to be sitting in the house with a big snake? I don't think so. Actually, I met a lady, and I think I have shared this before. We met at an embassy in Nairobi, and we got talking, and I'm like, oh, so how did you meet your husband? Because she was processing, she was on a spousal visa. So we got talking, and I was like, how did you meet your husband? And she said online, on Afro Introductions actually. And then she said, well, before him I had met somebody, and he was a really nice guy, and I had to break up the relationship because of his pet. I was like, really? She was like, yes, it couldn't work out because he had a python as a pet, a big snake, and he loved that thing. It was, he used to say, Jake is part of the family, Jake the snake. Well, I don't remember the name, but anyway, I think it was Jake. So it is very important for you to go through somebody's profile, whether it's pets, children, things, smoking, drinking, tattoos. We already talked about this because there are people who get very irritated by tattoos. If you don't like tattoos, or if somebody has written there they don't want to get involved with somebody who has tattoos and you have tattoos, that could be a problem. So be very careful. Go through somebody's profile. Just take your time. Take your time, see if you agree with what they have written there. If you don't, just, leave it alone. Leave it alone, because we tend to ignore small things, or we say, well, he's like this, but I can pray for him. Especially us Africans, we are so religious. We are like, I can pray for him to change. He's not going to change. In fact, a lot of people ignore red flags, and then later they come complaining, say, oh, he's like this, he's like this. But the truth of the matter is, you saw the red flags and you ignored them, or you said you are going to change him somehow, or you are going to pray for him, or you are going to, you know, whatever it is. Somebody has a gambling problem, you say you're gonna pray for him to change. Somebody has a drinking problem, you say you're gonna pray for him to change. Somebody has a smoking problem, you're gonna pray for him. You're not gonna pray for him, okay? So just go through things. Don't panic. Don't be in this mode where people are like, oh yes, I must find somebody and I must find somebody, and then you ignore things and then they come to bite you later. Those jokes, those dry jokes, there are some jokes that people tell on those dating bios. You're like, especially people who, and I think I talked about this, where you see somebody's dating profile, you're like, do you even like women? Because they're saying so horrible things about women, yet they're there saying they're looking for women. So watch out for that. Look out for people who are always talking negatively about women, people who haven't healed from their previous relationships. Chances are they're just gonna bleed on you when you get in a relationship with them. So be careful, you know, be careful. Don't just, you know, say, oh yes, it's funny, I have a sense of humor. No, it's not funny. You know, for me, jokes, I feel like if somebody is telling a joke and he's the only one who is laughing, then the joke is not funny. And some people actually hide behind jokes. Somebody will tell a joke. I've been in situations where somebody was actually sending me a message hidden in a joke, and then I found out whatever they were saying, it was actually true, because they used to say something like something really bad, and then they would say, it's a joke. Why don't you, why don't you have a sense of humor? Of course I have a sense of humor, but some jokes are just, horrible. They are not jokes, okay? So anyway, that's all I wanted to quickly mention here in this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I also want to remind you that I have an online dating guide, okay? I have a mini ebook that I wrote to help you on your online dating journey. I answer a lot of questions about long distance, about online dating itself, about the dating sites and how to maneuver and how to, spot scammers and jokers and all kinds of things. I even listed 10 dating apps that you can try. So you don't have to, I said you don't have to read the book and then you're like, okay, now I have read this book, where do I go? Like, where do I start? It just guides you all the way, okay? Up to the visa process, applications, I have talked about that as well. I have talked about the American visa process. I have talked about the European visa process because I've gone through both processes, so I'm familiar. So please get my book. I'm gonna put the link in the description of this video. It's really cheap. It's on Amazon. You can just grab it, and I think it's going to help you. So thank you so much for watching. This is Rose, and I shall see you on my next one. Bye bye for now.